My dad insulted me in front of everyone at work just to defend my brother. My brother is not good at his job. Now they need my help. I told them something they will always remember. I am a 34-year-old man. I have a shop that fixes and makes cars look nice. 5 years ago, I was just the older son. My dad thought I could not do anything right. My dad, Rick, is 62 years old. He started Carter Auto when I was little. He wanted it to be a family business for a long time. I believed him. I went to school for 4 years to learn about cars. I went for 2 more years to learn special skills. I learned how to fix old cars and car electronics. I worked at the family shop on weekends. They paid me very little money, just enough for gas for my car. I loved cars since I was young. My room had many car posters on the walls. When I was 14, I could tell what was wrong with a car just by listening. Things changed when my brother came into the business. My brother Evan is 30 years old. He did not have to work hard like me. He got a business degree from an online school. My dad made him the boss of the shop right away. My dad did not ask questions. He did not make Evan prove he could do the job. Evan did not know about car parts, but my dad said Evan was good with people and had good ideas. This means Evan was nice to customers. His big ideas cost more money than they made. Our Uncle Jack knew the truth. He had his own small car shop. It was not fancy. He just did good work. He saw what was happening. He tried to warn me. He said, "Ronnie, they will not see how good you are. They will only see it when you leave and they need you." I did not listen to him. I thought I could fix things while working there. That was my first mistake. Everything went wrong at a work meeting. My dad showed everyone how much money we made. The numbers were bad. We made 12% less money than last year. Evan did not talk about the money problems. He said we should open a new shop in a rich part of town. His plan was bad. The rent for the new place was too high. He thought too many customers would come. He did not plan to buy enough tools. I wrote notes while he talked. When Evan was done, my dad asked if anyone had questions. I said, "I have some questions. The rent costs $12,500 each month, but you only planned for $8,000. You forgot to buy a $30,000 tool. You did not see that 3 other car shops are already near the new place." The room got quiet. Evan rolled his eyes. He said I was always negative. My dad gave me a look. The look meant, "Why can't you just agree with us?" But Uncle Jack nodded at me. This made me feel brave. I said, "I am not being negative. I am telling the truth. This plan will use all our money in 6 months." My dad hit the table. He said, "Stop. Your brother worked hard on this plan." I laughed. I said, "He copied this from a website. Look, it still has the website's words at the bottom." Evan's face turned red. He said, "At least I try to make the business bigger. You just fix old cars all day." My dad stood up and pointed at me. He said, "Your brother thinks big. That's what we need. We need people with big ideas, not car fixers. Many people can change car oil and tires." His words hurt me. I went to school for 8 years. I got many special certificates. I fixed a 1967 Mustang car so well that a magazine wrote about us. But my dad said I was just someone who changes oil and tires. I tried to stay calm. I said, "I made our shop have a good name. The old car part of our business that you told me to start makes 40% of our money now." My dad said in a mean voice, "We are happy about that, but we need a leader now. We don't just need someone who knows about cars." Uncle Jack said, "Rick, you are making a mistake. Ronnie knows what he's—" My dad stopped him. My dad said, "I did not ask for your help."
"Jack, this is a family choice." Jack said, "I am family too." My dad said, "You know what I mean." Then my dad looked at me with cold eyes. He said, "We need business people, not car mechanics. You should not help make decisions here." The room got very quiet. I stood up slowly and picked up my papers. My dad asked, "Where are you going?" He was surprised I was not just sitting there taking it like I usually did. I said, "If I am just a car mechanic, then I quit, right now." I walked out. I did not look at my mom's shocked face or my brother's smile. Uncle Jack followed me to the car parking area. He said quietly, "You did the right thing. You should have done this years ago." I asked him, "What should I do now?" I was realizing what had happened. I had saved $42,000, but I had no plan. He said, "Come work with me. Not forever. Just until you decide what to do next." I nodded yes. I was too angry to say more. That night, I packed my things. I went to sleep at Uncle Jack's house. I was 29 years old. I had to start my life all over again. I knew deep down that Carter Auto was not my future. I was just scared to leave. My dad's words hurt me a lot, but I also felt free. No more meetings where no one listened to me. No more watching Evan get praised for my work. No more doing bad work just because my dad wanted it that way. The next day, I would start to think about what I could do. I would not be in my dad's shadow anymore. Working with Uncle Jack's shop helped me see how bad things had been for years. Now I could see the pattern clearly. The car situation showed everything. When Evan was 16, my dad gave him a new Jeep. When I was 16, my dad gave me $2,000 for a used car. I had to pay the rest myself. When Evan crashed his car, my dad paid to fix it. When my car needed fixing, my dad told me to figure it out myself. He said it would teach me to be responsible. The worst thing happened in my last year of college. A big car company wanted me to work for them. It was a great chance to learn and meet important people. It could have changed my whole career. But my dad called me. He said they needed me at the shop because they did not have enough workers. So I said no to the big company to help my family. Later I found out they had enough workers. My dad just did not want to pay for another worker for the summer. My dad always liked Evan more. It was easy to see, but I always made excuses for it. I told myself, Evan needs more help. My dad just likes him more. At least I'm learning how to fix cars. I know now that these were just bad excuses. The last bad thing happened 6 months before I quit. I heard my dad talking to my mom one night. They did not know I was in the hall. My dad said, when I stop working, Evan will be the boss. Ronnie can keep fixing cars if he wants, but Evan will make all the big choices. My mom said what she always said. She said, don't you think that will make Ronnie sad? He's the older son. He has worked so hard. My dad said, Ronnie is good at fixing cars, but he cannot be a boss. And I already told Evan he could be the boss. I will not change my mind. For 20 years, I worked very hard. I got degrees. I made our shop have a good name. I brought in rich customers. And my dad wanted me to work for my younger brother. My brother cannot even count the shop's money without help. I should have left then, but I stayed for 6 more months. I hoped things would get better. They did not. Working at Uncle Jack's shop was good. His shop was smaller than Carter Auto. It had just 3 car spaces and a small office, but it worked very well. The work was honest and the pay was fair. Jack had 2 good workers. They were nice to me right away. For the first month, I just worked on cars. I found problems, fixed them, and talked to customers. If I said a car needed a new part, no one said I was wrong. No one tried to sell the customer things they did not need. It felt good, but I knew I could not work there forever. Jack's shop made money, but he wanted it to stay small. He did not want to make it bigger. He wanted to watch everything himself. I understood, but I wanted more. At night, after the shop closed,
I would stay late. I would draw ideas for my own shop. What would it look like? What work would we do? How do we be better than other car shops? I kept thinking about fixing old cars and making cars look special. I loved doing that. More people wanted that work, but not many shops did it well in our town. Many shops could fix simple car problems, but not many shops knew how to fix old cars until they looked new again. Not many shops could make cars look very special. The problem was how to start without much money or a good name. I needed to fix one car really well. That car would show people how good I was. Rich people would want me to fix their cars too. Uncle Jack's shop was small but good. He had 2 other workers and 1 person who answered phones sometimes. The pay was not good, but it gave me time to plan my next step while I worked on cars. After 3 months, I got a surprise chance. A man brought in an old 1970 Dodge Charger car. It had been in his barn for 30 years. The car looked bad, but it could be fixed. Another shop said it would cost $65,000 to fix the car. The man almost had a heart attack. This car was special. It was a real Bar T model with a special engine. They made fewer than 200 of these cars. If fixed well, the car could be worth more than $200,000. The owner, Bob, got the car from his uncle. He remembered riding in it as a kid, but he did not know how to fix it or have enough money. I looked at the car carefully. I told him, I can fix it for $48,000, but I need half the money now to buy parts. He looked at me like he did not trust me. He said, that's much less than the other shop said. What will you do wrong to save money? I said, I will not do bad work. I don't have the costs they have. I will do most of the work myself. He looked at me for a minute, then he nodded.
He said, "Jack says you are good. That means something. But I want you to show me pictures and tell me how the work is going each week." The next day, $24,000 went into my bank account. I took $16,000. I rented a small building outside of town. I bought some tools I needed. Then I started working on the car. I hired a painter named Marcus. He was almost retired. He had 40 years of experience. He wanted to work when he could. Uncle Jack let me use his car lifts on Sundays when his shop was closed. I worked on that car all the time. I worked 14 hours every day, 7 days a week. It took 6 weeks just to fix the engine. I had to find the right parts. I had to make some parts that you can't buy anymore. I wrote down everything I did so people would know it was fixed right. The car body needed old parts from other cars. I found these parts at junkyards in 3 different states. I did not buy new copy parts. Marcus painted the car the special purple color that made these cars famous. 6 months later, the car was beautiful. When we started the engine for the first time, it sounded amazing. The sound filled the building. Bob loved this car. He brought 3 friends who collect cars to see it. Within 1 month, 4 more people asked me to fix their old cars. They all paid me half the money before I started. I started my business called Precision Performance. The Charger was the first car I fixed to show people how good I was. I kept costs low. I worked 80 hours each week. Sometimes I slept at the shop. My plan was risky. Fixing old cars cost a lot of money. I would not get paid back for months, but I made more money on each car, and people would know I did excellent work. After 1 year, I hired 3 full-time workers. Marcus painted cars. Diego was great with car wires and electronics. Tom could fix car seats and inside parts to look like new. Uncle Jack helped with hard engine problems. He had 35 years of experience. We still worked in the building I rented. I made it better over time. I put in better lights. I made a small room for customers to wait. I made a clean room just for engine work. The shop was not fancy, but it worked well. Our customers liked that we did not waste money on fancy things. They cared more about the good work we did than about having expensive coffee in the waiting room. Then I met Ryan Matthews. He was 40 years old. He made a lot of money from technology companies. He loved old cars with new, fast engines and parts. He brought me an old 1965 Mustang car that was very rusty. He said, "Make it look old, but drive like a very fast, expensive car." He said I could spend $175,000. This was a new kind of job. The Mustang needed a new frame. It needed new suspension and brakes. It needed a new engine and transmission that made it very fast. But it had to look like an old car from the 1960s. I spent weeks just planning. I made computer models of the car. I tested how it would drive. I did not cut any metal until the plan was perfect. Ryan helped me plan. We changed things together as we worked. The work took 9 months. We took out the old engine. We put in a new engine with 460 horsepower. We added a new transmission with 6 gears. We made a new suspension system. We put new brakes on all 4 wheels. The outside of the car mostly looked like the original. We made small changes to fit bigger tires and help the engine stay cool. The finished car was in 3 car magazines. It won an award for Best Old Car with New Parts at a big car show. Ryan loved the car. He told his rich friends about my work. Later, when I wanted to make my business bigger, he gave me money to help. He became a silent partner in my business. After 2 years, my business was so good that customers had to wait 10 months for me to work on their cars. I had to move to a bigger building with 15,000 square feet of space. I hired Tony away from my dad's shop. Tony was the best mechanic there. I paid him $20,000 more each year. I also gave him part of the money my business made. My dad never knew I hired him. Tony knew a lot about how my dad's shop worked. He knew their prices. He knew who sold them parts. He knew what customers did not like about the shop. I did not use this information to hurt my dad's business, but it helped me not make the same mistakes. I focused on what I did best. I made old cars amazing again. I either made them look like new or added new parts that made them better. I never offered a service I could not do perfectly. Then I met Sophia Reeves. She helped businesses sell expensive things. She came to my shop with her brother. He was picking up his old BMW car that I had fixed. She asked me many questions about how I ran my business. Sophia was not like other marketing people. She had worked with expensive watch companies, small, nice hotels, and people who made special furniture. These businesses, like mine, did great work instead of lots of work. She told me directly, "Your business is special, but only a few rich car people know about it. You could make more money." I did not believe her. I said, "I don't want to be a regular shop. I want to do good work, not lots of work." She shook her head. She said, "I don't mean do more work. I mean make people see you as special. You do the best work, but you charge medium prices. You tell people about your business like it's just a local shop." After she talked more, I hired her to help. She made my business look better. She made a new logo and a nice website. She got magazines and websites to talk about us. More people wanted our work. Customers had to wait 14 months. I raised my prices by 30%. Then Sophia introduced me to Daniel Kang. He used to work for a company that makes expensive cars. After he saw my shop, he said, "Your work is perfect, but the way you work is costing you too much money." I made him the boss of operations. I gave him part of my business instead of a big salary. It was the best choice I ever made. He made everything work better. We finished cars 25% faster, but the work was still just as good. One of the first things he did was make a better way to track parts. Before, we ordered parts when we needed them. We often paid a lot of money to get them fast. Daniel made a system to guess what parts we would need. This let us buy many parts at once. We got better prices from the people who sell us parts. He also changed how we worked. He used ideas from big factories to help us fix cars better.
Before, each worker did their part alone. Now he made teams work on cars together. This saved time. The teams talked to each other more. Right away, we finished cars faster. We made fewer mistakes. Customers were happier. Sophia made our business look good. Daniel made our business run well. I could do what I loved. I could work on cars and teach new people how to fix old cars. We started a program to teach young people. We worked with schools to find students who wanted to learn to fix cars the right way. I never thought I would be a teacher, but I was good at it. I felt very happy when I saw a 19-year-old who had never used a tool become a skilled worker. After 4 years, we opened another shop in Arizona. We worked on old cars from that area that did not have rust. A year later, we opened a third shop in Florida. All our shops had the same high standards. We paid attention to small details. We always did things right. During this time, I heard that my dad's shop was not doing well. My dad did what Evan wanted. They opened a new shop in the expensive part of town. The shop closed after 9 months. They lost more than $120,000. Evan said the economy was bad. I knew the real reason. After Tony left, 3 more good workers quit. My dad hired cheaper workers who were not as good. The work got worse. More customers complained. A man who used to go to my dad's shop now came to my shop. He said my dad's shop kept his Mercedes car for 3 weeks to fix an electrical problem. Another person said my dad's shop wanted to charge $3,200 to fix a part that should cost $1,600. Uncle Jack sometimes told me news about my dad's shop, but he did not talk to them much anymore. My dad was not nice to him at that last meeting. When we went fishing, Uncle Jack told me they are still in business, but they are having big problems. I just nodded and kept fishing. I had my own business to run. After 5 years, my business made $8.2 million each year from all our shops. We had 47 workers. We had a YouTube channel with more than 200,000 people who watched it. Sophia thought of the YouTube channel. People said we were one of the best car restoration shops in the country. A big car magazine named us the best restoration shop in America. They liked how we fixed a rare 1956 Mercedes car to look exactly like it did when it was new. The magazine said our work was good enough for a museum. They called me a mechanical artist, not just a mechanic. The car took 18 months to fix. The company that makes Mercedes cars said it was one of the best examples of that car in the world. I put the magazine article in a frame on my wall, not because I wanted to show off, but to remind myself what happens when you always do your best work. Ryan, the technology man who became my business partner, taught me about diversification. He said, "You built an amazing business, but the business needs you to work there all the time. You need to think about what to do next." He was right. Fixing old cars felt good, but it had problems. Each car took months to finish. I needed a lot of money to start each project. I could only fix so many cars and still do great work. If I wanted my business to last, I needed to make money in other ways too. We started making new copies of old car parts that are hard to find. Other companies made bad copies of old parts. Our parts were just like the original parts. They used the same materials. They looked the same.
This small part of our business grew fast. Soon, it made more than $1 million each year. Shops all over the world bought our parts. Daniel also said we should make digital records of how we fixed cars. We sold access to these records to people who fix cars themselves and to small shops. They could search our database to learn how to fix hard problems. This helped many shops fix cars they could not fix before. As my business grew and changed, I kept one rule: never do bad work. Every car we fixed had to be perfect. If it was not perfect, the car stayed in our shop. We never made exceptions. It did not matter if the customer was important or if we were in a hurry. Our good name was our best thing. When people brought their special old cars to us, they knew we would do the best work.
They knew we loved their cars as much as they did. Other people noticed how well my business was doing. Big car companies and rich people wanted to buy my business. Some offered a lot of money. Some offers were more than $10 million. I would never have to work again if I sold. But I remembered what my dad did. He chose money over doing good work. I would not make the same mistake. My mom called me one Wednesday afternoon. I was looking at plans for a special car part for a Ferrari. My assistant told me, "Your mother is on the phone." We had not talked for 5 years. Now she called me suddenly. I thought about not answering, but I was curious. I said, "Hello, Mom." I tried to sound normal. She said, "Ronnie," and her voice sounded tight. She asked, "How are you?" I said, "I'm fine. What do you need?" We talked about small things for 30 seconds. It was awkward. Then she told me why she called. She said, "Your father had a heart attack last week. He's okay now, but he needs heart surgery." I said, "I'm sorry to hear that. I hope he gets better soon." She said, "There's more. The business is not doing well. Evan made some bad choices." I had already heard that my dad's shop was almost out of money. They tried to grow too fast. They borrowed too much money. They did bad work to save money. I asked, "What kind of choices?" even though I knew the answer. She said, "He borrowed money to open 2 more shops. The new shops are not making money. Also, they did a bad job fixing a customer's Porsche car. The customer is suing us for $225,000. Someone sued over a Porsche repair? They must have done a very bad job. Porsche cars are expensive. The people who own them expect perfect work. They have enough money to hire good lawyers if they are not happy." I asked, "What do you want me to do about this?" She was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "We need your help, Ronnie. The bank says we must pay back our loans now. We could lose everything, even our house." I knew my dad would hate to lose his house. I asked, "Everything?" She said quietly, "Yes, everything." I asked again, "Everything?" I told her I would think about it. Then I hung up the phone. 20 minutes later, Evan called. He did not say hello nicely. He said, "I know we are not friends right now, but this is about family." I said in a cold voice, "Is it? I remember that 5 years ago, you told me I was not part of the family that makes decisions." He sighed like I was causing problems. He said, "Dad was wrong when he said that. We all know it, but we need your help now. You built a great business. We are having a lot of trouble." I asked, "What do you want from me, Evan?" He said, "We need you to lend us money. We need it for the next few months. Then we can sell the new shops." I asked, "How much money?" He said, $300,000. I laughed. I said, "You want me to lend you $300,000 after what happened?" He said, "It would be a real business loan. We would pay you interest. We would use the main shop as a promise to pay you back." I said, "The shop that the bank is about to take? That's your promise?" He did not know what to say. I said, "I will come see you tomorrow." Before I said yes or no, I asked my lawyer to check the Porsche lawsuit. It was real and bad. My dad's shop tried to fix a special part in a Porsche car. They should have sent the car back to the Porsche company to fix it. They did such a bad job that they broke the engine and other parts. It would cost $180,000 to fix.
My lawyer said paying less than $250,000 to settle the lawsuit would be good. I made this part of my deal. I would pay if the settlement was under $250,000. If it was more, they would have to pay part of it. This is how you manage risk. After I hung up the phone, I called Uncle Jack.
I told him about the call. He said, they finally stopped being too proud to ask for help, huh? I said, it seems that way. How bad are things really at their shop? Jack sighed. He said, worse than they said. Evan has been lying about the money. He did not tell your dad how much money they are losing. The government says they owe taxes. Customers are angry. 3 workers say they will sue because they did not get paid. Jack asked, wow, what will you do? I thought for a while. I said, I will help them, but it will be on my terms. Uncle Jack was not surprised. He knows me well. He knew I would not let the business my grandfather started fail completely, even though my dad and brother made it fail. That night, I stayed up late working with the numbers. By morning, I had a plan. The next day, I went to Carter Auto for the first time in 5 years. The shop looked smaller and much messier than I remembered. The floor was shocking. Tools were all over the place. Oil stains were on the floor. 2 of the car lifts had signs that said they were broken. My dad used to be proud of keeping the shop clean and professional. Now that pride was gone. My dad was there. He looked older and weaker than I remembered. His face was gray. He moved slowly. He was still getting better from his heart attack. But when he saw me, his eyes still showed that he was proud and stubborn. Evan came from the back office. He wore a suit that did not fit him well. He looked like a child pretending to be a businessman. He said, Ronnie, thank you for coming. Let's talk in the office. For 2 hours, I looked at their money records. I asked hard questions. Evan looked uncomfortable. The situation was just as bad as Uncle Jack said, maybe even worse. They owed $420,000, not the $300,000 Evan said. They had not paid the people who sell them parts for 90 days. The bank said they would take their equipment. Only 42% of customers came back after their first visit. That means less than half of their customers came back. Their online reviews were terrible. They had 2.1 stars out of 5 on Google. People wrote things like, they charge too much and do bad work, and I went for an oil change. My car had more problems when I got it back. When I closed the money book, Evan said, so that's the situation. Can you help us? I said, yes, I can help you, but I will not lend you money. Evan looked surprised. He asked, what then? I said, I will buy the business. My words stayed in the quiet room. My dad finally spoke. He sounded like my words hurt him. He said, buy it. This is a family business. I said, it is a business that is failing. In 60 days, it will be gone if someone does not help. I am offering to save it. You can say yes, or the bank will take everything. My dad laughed at me. He said, you think you are a hero now because you built your little shop for fun? I said, that shop made $8 million last year, and it will make even more money soon. My dad stood up. He tried to look like the boss, but he was thin, and his work jacket was too big. He said, this place has my name on it. I looked right at him. I said, not for long. My dad opened his mouth to talk, but no words came out. Evan spoke first. He said, Dad, he's right. We have no choice. Then I told them my offer. I said, I will pay the $420,000 debt. I will also give you $100,000. You both can work for 1 year as helpers while we make changes. After 1 year, you will not work here anymore. My dad said angrily, that is insulting. I said, no, what you did to this business is insulting. I'm just fixing your mistakes. Evan asked, can we think about it? I stood up. I said, you have 48 hours. After that, I will be too busy with my own business to help with your mess. I left them sitting there. They could not speak. 2 days later, my lawyer got a phone call. They said yes to my offer. The change went better than I thought. I made Carter Auto part of my business. I kept the original shop, but I made everything better. I bought new tools. I even got a new coffee machine.
I kept most of the workers. I gave them better training and more money. We closed the shop for 2 weeks. We fixed the building and trained the workers a lot. My dad worked as a helper for 3 months. Then he had to stop because of his health. Evan worked the full year. He watched sadly as the business did very well. The shop went from losing $30,000 each month to not losing money in 4 months. After 6 months, the shop made money. I worked 70 hours a week. I fixed relationships with the people who sell us parts. I made a new way to charge for services that my dad's shop never tried. The best feeling came when we had the grand reopening. We had fixed the whole building. I invited all the old customers to come see the new shop. Many customers remembered me. They said many nice things about how much better the shop was. One customer who had gone there for a long time said to me right in front of my dad and Evan, "You really saved this shop. It was getting bad these last few years. I had started taking my BMW car to another shop." My dad's face looked angry, but he did not say anything. Later that night, after everyone left, Evan came to talk to me in the new customer waiting area. He looked like he had lost. Evan said quietly, "I really thought I could do it. I thought I could run the business like Dad." I poured him coffee from our new coffee machine. I said, "The problem was trying to be like Dad. He built this place with hard work, but he stopped learning new things. You cannot do the same things and expect different results." Evan nodded slowly. He said, "I want you to know that I am sorry. I am sorry for what happened before." I said, "I know." And I did know. Evan was not my enemy. He was just the son my dad liked more. He never had to deal with bad results until now. A few weeks later, I offered him a job in sales at my main shop. I did not do this to be nice. I really thought he might be good at it if he had the right help and rules. He said yes to the job. That surprised me. What surprised me more was that he was very good at the job. Evan was great at making friends with rich customers. He was good at selling our excellent work. He did not have to run the business, so he could focus on sales. My dad was the last one to change his mind. The best thing happened a year later. A car magazine wrote about us in an issue about family businesses. They talked to both of us about how well the merger worked. To my dad's credit, he told the truth. He said, "Ronnie saw something I could not see. He knew that doing good work is more important than making the business bigger. He built his business from nothing because he believed in doing things the right way, not the fast way. Taking over Carterado was not about getting even. It was about making things right. Change happens little by little. When I think about that day 5 years ago when my dad said, 'We need business people, not car mechanics,' I realize it might have been the best thing that ever happened to me. It made me build something my own way. What I learned was not about cars or business. I learned that you need to be brave enough to leave something that does not value you, and you need to work hard to build something better instead."